All right, let's just jump right into one of the biggest debates in the whole DIY solar world. You know the one I'm talking about. Do you really need to hammer an 8-foot copper rod into the ground for your small solar setup? Man, the advice out there is all over the place. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get you a straight, clear answer.
I mean, you've seen it, right? You go online and one person's screaming that it's absolutely essential, and the next person's saying, nah, it's total overkill for a little system. It gets confusing fast. And look, getting this right, it's not just about rules, it's about safety. So yeah, it's about time we settled this thing.
So we are tackling this grounding dilemma head on. And the goal here isn't just to blindly follow some rule. No way. It's about understanding the why behind it all. Because once you get that, you can make a really safe, informed decision for your specific setup. Okay, before we can even begin to talk about whether or not you need a rod, we have to get on the same page about why grounding matters in the first place. This isn't just about checking a box or following some code. It's about creating a critical safety net for you and for all that expensive gear you bought.
Here's the easiest way to think about it. Just picture something going wrong. Maybe a short circuit, maybe a lightning surge nearby. Well, without a proper ground, all that dangerous energy is going to look for the easiest path to the earth. And that path could be right through you, or it could be through your expensive inverter. A ground wire, that's just a dedicated safe escape route, a safety exit.
So when you boil it all down, grounding really does 3 absolutely crucial things. First, it protects you from a potentially lethal electric shock. Second, it gives a huge energy spike from something like a lightning strike a clear path away from your gear. And third, it protects all the sensitive electronics inside your inverter. It's a 3-in-1 safety system.
Okay, now here's a word that is every bit as important as grounding, but honestly, it gets overlooked all the time. The word is bonding. And here's the key. You have to bond your system before you even think about grounding it. So what is it? It's actually pretty simple. You're just electrically tying all the metal bits together, the panel frames, the mounting racks, the inverter's metal case, with one continuous wire. Why? To make sure everything's at the same voltage. That's what stops you from getting a nasty, dangerous shock. And this right here shows you the difference perfectly. It's night and day. In a system that's properly grounded and bonded, a fault happens, and that bad current just flows safely to the earth. Maybe a breaker trips, no big deal. But in a floating, ungrounded system, that same fault energizes every single piece of metal. The frame of your solar panel could suddenly have a lethal voltage just sitting there, waiting for you to touch it.
All right, so now that we have that crucial safety stuff in our heads, we can finally get to the main event, the big question. For your small system, do you actually need to install a ground rod? Let's make this easy. Here's a simple 3-step guide to help you figure it out. First, and this is non-negotiable, check your inverter's manual. The manufacturer knows best, period. A lot of small off-grid inverters don't actually require a separate rod. Second, take a look at your system. Is the DC negative already bonded to the chassis inside the inverter? And third, think about where you live. If you're in a place that gets a lot of thunderstorms, a ground rod is some seriously cheap insurance.
Okay, so you've gone through the steps and you've decided a ground rod is the right call for your setup. Awesome. Now let's talk about how to do it the right way. The whole process really has 2 distinct phases, and both of them are equally important. Phase 1 is all about that bonding we talked about. You're basically creating a continuous electrical daisy chain. You'll run a single copper wire from the frame of your first panel to the next one, then to the mounting rack, and finally connect it all to a central grounding point on your inverter's chassis. And every single one of those connections has to be rock solid. Now for phase 2, the rod itself. You'll drive an 8-foot copper-clad rod straight into the ground. Then you'll take a heavy gauge copper wire, number 6 AWG is a pretty common standard, and use a special clamp to connect that wire to the rod. The other end of that wire goes right back to that same central grounding point where all your bonding wires met up. And when you're done, grab a multimeter and test for continuity. Make sure you have a solid connection from the very end of that rod all the way to your furthest solar panel. Now, want to know a pro tip to make your setup even better? If you happen to live in an area with really dry, sandy, or rocky soil, which doesn't conduct electricity very well, a single rod might not be enough. By installing a second rod, at least 6 feet away from the first one, you can dramatically improve your connection to the earth. To put some real numbers on this, let's look at resistance. So in decent soil, a single 8-foot ground rod is going to give you a resistance to earth of about 25 ohms. And when we're talking about electrical resistance, the rule is simple. The lower the number, the better. But check this out. Look what happens when you add that second rod. By spacing them out properly, you can slash that resistance almost in half, getting you down to around 12 ohms. That makes for a way more effective, a much safer safety exit for any bad electricity. So, we've covered the why, we've covered the when, and we've covered the how. Now let's just wrap things up with a final checklist to make absolutely sure your system is as safe as it can possibly be. Seriously, go back and double-check everything. Are all the clamps tight? Are the wires protected so they won't get nicked or damaged? And you gotta remember, while this is all about best practices, your local electrical codes, they're the final word. Always be sure to check what they require. When it's all said and done, it really just comes down to this. Taking the time to properly bond your system and then adding that ground rod if it's needed, it's not just about protecting your solar panels. It's about protecting yourself. So I'm going to leave you with this question to really think about for your own setup. After everything we've gone over today, have you built yourself a safe, long-term investment or a potential shocking liability? The choice really is yours. And please, please remember that working with electricity is just inherently dangerous. This content is here for educational purposes. If you are ever in doubt about something, just stop what you're doing and call a qualified electrician. Safety first, always.